This is Walt Disney World Today. Give us 5 minutes and we'll give you the world.
It's Friday, November 25th, 2005, and this is episode number 28 for Walt Disney World Today. I'm your host, Matt Hochberg from mgmstudios.org. On the panel today, we've got a full house, and we'll start with Mouse Planet Mike, who, of course, can be found on mouseplanet.com. Welcome to the show, Mike.
Tonight, as we gather around the fire. Good evening, Matt.
Thanks for entertaining the rest of us.
My job.
And live from his Fortress of Solitude is Len Testa of touringplans.com. Welcome, Len.
I can't follow those intros. I can't do it. So
we just
a
work
true
on it all
picture
week.
emerges.
And our special guest today is none other than the man synonymous with Hidden Mickeys, Steve Barrett, author of the Hassle-Free Walt Disney World Vacation Guidebook and Hidden Mickeys, a field guide to Disney's best-kept secrets. Welcome to the show, Steve.
Thanks for having me.
Anytime. And today we're going to be talking about Hidden Mickeys. And, of course, if you have no idea what a Hidden Mickey is, well, I'll let Steve explain it because we like putting our guests right to work. So, Steve, what is it?
Well, the original Disney definition of a Hidden Mickey is the one I usually go by, and that is a Hidden Mickey is a representation of Mickey Mouse, or in some cases, another Disney character, that is meant to blend into your surroundings, whether it be the murals of a shop or along the ride of an attraction. It can be in paintings or in sculptures. And people see Hidden Mickeys all through Disney World. Now Disney's line recently has been anything can be a Hidden Mickey if you want it to be. So that's expanded the definition
Rorschach
somewhat.
test.
Right. So our challenge is to determine what really is a Hidden Mickey or not. And what I look for when I'm at Disney World, I look for silhouettes or images of Hidden Mickey, of Mickey or other characters that I feel that were placed there on purpose. And that's really the bottom line. Did an Imagineer or a cast member put that image there, whether it be a three-circle Mickey, what I call a classic Mickey, or a side profile of Mickey's face or his whole body, or another character? Did the Imagineer or cast member place that image there on purpose for us to find?
And is there a rough estimate of how many Hidden Mickeys exist?
I have an idea because in my book, in the second edition of the Hidden Mickeys book, I list almost 500 Hidden Mickeys at Walt Disney World, and I'm convinced that there's probably on the order of 100 more out there that I haven't found yet.
Wow.
Because I get 5 or 10 emails a week from people who claim that they've seen a new Hidden Mickey, and I would say about 25 to 30% of those are real finds. There are actually Hidden Mickeys out there that people have not found yet.
And Steve, are these just in the theme parks, or can you find them also in restaurants and other places?
Restaurants, hotels, the resorts, downtown Disney, all over Walt Disney World. And again, one huge Mickey shape you might have seen if you're driving along I-4 is the three-circle or classic Mickey in the electrical tubing telephone wire support near World Drive, which is the road from Magic Kingdom to I-4.
Is that right after you pass Gaylord Palms on the left?
Actually, it's near Celebration, near one of the Celebration exits.
Okay.
There's a huge electrical tubing there but anyway, that some people wouldn't consider that a Hidden Mickey. However, most people would not see it unless they're looking there, and when you see it, voila, it looks like Mickey Mouse. So anyway, yeah, there are Hidden Mickeys all over Walt Disney World. In fact, there's a very intriguing one on Walt Disney World property, which is not near in any of the tourist areas. It's 3 roads that surround groves of trees, and you can only see this Mickey shape from the air. So I actually saw it first. I was in the office of an aerial photographer, and he had plastered all across his walls photos of the Orlando area. And he says, "Look at here. There's a Mickey there." And recently somebody sent me a Google map of that area, and sure enough, some Disney landscaper designed that to be a hidden Mickey. But it's a large one with
Nice.
roads and groves of trees on Disney World property. So yeah, the hidden Mickeys are all over the place. The Imagineers are encouraged to put hidden Mickeys in new attractions or renovations when they do it. So it's a fun game that they're all involved with, and there's no official list. They don't put it on a list. They just wait for us to find them.
So,
In
Steve,
fact, I remember one story when the Animal Kingdom Lodge was built, and they were finishing up the lobby, those wonderful chandeliers in the lobby. The interior designer suddenly had a whim that he wanted a hidden Mickey on one of the chandeliers. So he made that order, and it happened, and a hidden Mickey appeared on one of the chandeliers. So it's that's
great.
the way they do things with the hidden Mickeys out there now.
so with all the hidden Mickeys out there, Steve, how do you find these hidden Mickeys? I'm guessing that it's not just you who goes to all the parks and all the restaurants
No,
and
no.
all the resorts and finds them. How do you get information on all these hidden Mickeys?
Well, currently my best information comes when people email me through my new website, hiddenmickeysguide.com, and they'll actually send me photos of the area in question that they think there's a hidden Mickey at. So that's my best source right now. I pursue these emails. I go out to Disney World and I try to find them and follow the photographs. But some people are very good at spotting them, Mike, by the way. There's a couple of neighbors here in Longwood, Florida, and we go out to Disney World periodically. A friend of mine that comes twice a year from Oklahoma is very good. We'll just be walking around Disney World, and they'll find a new hidden Mickey that I've never seen before. And it's just amazing how some people, especially kids, kids can find, especially the 3-circle classic Mickey shapes all over the place. So these emails are what really helps me the most right now.
That was going to be my follow-up question. If I was walking through a Walt Disney World park, and I saw what I thought was a hidden Mickey, how would I mean, it sounds like the best way to contact you would be to fire off an email to you and say, "Hey, Steve, I think this may be a hidden Mickey," and
Absolutely.
if possible, send you a photograph, or at least send you a description so that you could follow up and check it out.
Oh yes, that's absolutely the best way. And plus put your name there so I can give you credit on the website.
Oh, okay.
Like,
wait.
yeah,
Now you're
absolutely.
talking.
SCOPA.
That's like saying, So, Steve, let me ask you a question. Was there like a first hidden Mickey that Disney put in, or are there hidden Mickeys that are considered, classic or sort of the canonical hidden Mickeys?
Disney, when I first started doing this a few years ago, Disney's history of hidden Mickeys was as follows. That hidden Mickey started in Epcot in the late 1980s because the Imagineers were bored and they played a game and they started hiding Mickey at Epcot. But I like Jim Hill's history the best, and he told me this at a Mouse Fest last year or the year before, I can't remember. But Jim Hill said, no, hidden Mickey started when the Imagineers were designing Epcot in the late 1970s, and Disney management told them that they only wanted characters in Magic Kingdom. They wanted Epcot to be a more adult park, and they did not want characters there. So in sort of a protest, the Imagineers started hiding characters in Epcot. And I like that story because that makes sense to me. Now, clearly Hidden Mickeys has gained the most momentum in Walt Disney World, but Hidden Mickeys exist in Disneyland too, and surely some of the Hidden Mickeys there were in place before the 1980s or 1970s. They just weren't called Hidden Mickeys. That's what I believe. And some of those Hidden Mickeys in Disneyland are ancient by Disney World standards, but they're now called Hidden Mickeys because that's the term we use.
On my last trip down, Steve, someone pointed out to me a hidden Tinkerbell, and I know there's discrepancy about normal Hidden Mickeys, so, I mean, are there really other hidden characters, or is this just wishful thinking?
No, there are some wonderful hidden characters. The hidden Tinkerbell, the one I know about, is in Magic Kingdom.
Yep.
In Frontierland, at the exit of the Big Thunder Mountain Railroad, and I think it is a very good representation of Tinkerbell. It looks to me like it was put there on purpose. So I think
where's it out of the exit?
It's in the side of a rock as you
Right.
exit. If you're exiting the ride, it's going to be on your left-hand side.
Right. And
Is it like right when you get off the ride, or is it?
Almost as you're exited the ride queue, the little line that brings you out back to the rest of the park.
Yeah, so you circle around the Rivers of America, and you're walking back towards the entrance or where the sort of the entrances of those.
Yes.
Okay. And it's on the left.
On the left.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
In a
if
rock.
you recall Big Thunder Mountain Railroad, there are two exits. There's an upper. It depends on what side, which train you're on, which track you're on. The Tinkerbell is on the lower exit, which would be the right exit if you're on the right side of trains coming into the station. And as soon as you leave the tunnel, which is where the mountain over you, and you come out into the open air, it's in a rock just to the left.
And how big is it? I mean, it's something that you look at and say, "Oh, it's Tink." Or is it 6 inches tall? Is it 2 inches tall?
It's about a foot tall.
Is it really?
Yes, and once you see it, most people I've been with say that really looks like Tinkerbell, and I agree. I have a picture of it on my website, and I think it's pretty convincing. But there's some other wonderful, one of my favorite hidden characters. It's a beautiful hidden character. Is a hidden Minnie Mouse in the Great Movie Ride, and hopefully at Mouse Fest next week, or November 30th, we'll if we can get on the Great Movie Ride, and hopefully it won't be too long a line, we can all get on. But the hidden Minnie there, Minnie Mouse, and the mural at the loading dock is my favorite hidden character other than Hidden Mickeys. It's a wonderful hidden character. And there's a hidden Winnie the Pooh at the exit of Space Mountain. And a few years ago, I was at a local mail express area. I was mailing some documents. And one of the guys behind the desk, we were talking about Hidden Mickey, says, "Oh yeah, since I was a kid, I've looked at the hidden Winnie the Pooh at Space Mountain. I'd never heard of it." so I had him describe to me where it was, and sure enough, you get off Space Mountain Ride, you're on the moving walkway at the exit. The second scene to the right, you look in this the hole in the rock, and you see a shadow of Winnie the Pooh coming across from right to left. And it's Winnie the Pooh. It's just it's a wonderful hidden character. They do really neat things with hidden characters out there. A lot of fun.
Speaking of hidden non-Mickeys, a few years ago, someone mentioned to me that there was a hidden Walt Disney on one of the floats in the Share a Dream Come True parade.
Oh my goodness!
Have any of you guys heard that?
I've not heard of that.
Walt.
Yeah, a hidden Walt somewhere on the base of one of the floats in the Share a Dream Come True parade.
Well, I'll have to check that out.
Yeah,
Wow.
I'm not sure where it is, Steve. I think it's somewhere on the back end of one of the floats.
Is it done in lights, or is it something you can see during the daytime?
I think it's something that that parade is not shown at night, so
Oh, right.
it'd have to be. See, some of us do go to the daytime parades, Len.
Yeah, this is why I skip it. Yeah.
But I think it's an embossed image on one of the bases. I think it's the one with Peter Pan on the float, but I'm not sure. But that's something for everyone to at least take a look at next time you happen to see a.
I'm taking notes. I'm taking notes. I can't wait to check that one out. That would be a wonderful hidden character for sure.
Yeah.
Hey, Steve, about how often do you discover new hidden Mickeys these days?
1 or 2 a month, on average, I would say. I give you an example of how this happens. I was out there with a friend a few months ago, and we were walking along in Animal Kingdom along the Maharaja Jungle Trek, and we'd walk through the temple ruins where the tiger exhibit is, and he yelled at me, and he was pointing at some leaves on a mural, and he says, "There's a hidden Mickey," and I took a picture of it, and it is a wonderful little classic 3-circle Mickey in the leaves. It's clearly different from the rest of the leaves, and the artist must have put that there on purpose. If you see it in the photo, it's a hidden Mickey, and it had never been described before. Nobody ever talked about it before. And this friend of mine found it. So it's and when I'm out there with people, with friends and family, we're all looking for hidden Mickeys. I guess I'm moderately bright, but I really rely on other people to spot them because I'm not that good at it, to be honest. I certainly am good at verifying them, but some people.
Spoken like a true webmaster.
I'd be happy to tell you whether you're wrong.
Right. Some people are just very good at spotting them.
One of my favorites, Steve, is it doesn't really exist now because of the Sorcerer's Hat, but there used to be, and also Sunset Boulevard kind of screws it up, but there used to be an aerial one at the Disney MGM Studios that was formed by the Great Movie Ride and the grass areas and Hollywood Boulevard. That I'll post a link in the show notes to the picture of it because I thought that was always my favorite. But I'm curious to know what your favorite hidden Mickey of all time is. You got to pick one, Steve.
My favorite one is still the Mickey body image in the mural above the entrance of Body Wars. I love that hidden Mickey. And somebody actually sent me a photo of it a few weeks ago, a very good photo of it. It's clearly very hidden. It's hard to see unless you know where you're looking. I've seen people stand there and look for a long time until a cast member brings out a flashlight or a light pointer and shows them exactly where it is. But clearly it's a beautiful hidden Mickey. Unfortunately, as you know, the Wonders of Life Pavilion has been closed most of the time over the last year or so. Mm. And I don't know, maybe you guys know what's going to happen to it. I hope those attractions stay in there. That's one of my favorite pavilions in Disney World. But that's my favorite hidden Mickey. And I just marvel at it. It's the artist who did it did a wonderful job. Wonderful job.
Well, great. Steve, there's never enough time to talk to you about this topic because I'm sure we could all go on for a list another hour. So we're going to have you back at some point to talk about it.
I hope so. I enjoy this. I enjoy this.
And Steve's website is online at hiddenmickeysguide.com. So you can find information about the hidden Mickeys that Steve discovered and submit your own, and also find information on how to buy his books. And that's it for us today. Thanks again for being on the show, Steve.
Well, thanks for having me. I've had a wonderful time, and I hope to come back someday.
I hope so. This has been episode number 28 of Walt Disney World Today. Be sure to visit the Walt Disney World Today website at www.wdwtoday.com for the show notes. And you can also send us an email over there. And, of course, you can send us your email to questions@wdwtoday.com. Don't forget, we're looking for our 100th email from you, our listeners, and the winner will receive a nice little gift from our own Len Testa. Details about that can be found on our website. And our new shows are on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays every week. For Len Testa, Mike Scopa, and Mike Newell, I'm Matt Hochberg. We'll see you on the next show.